What's going on, YouTube? John Davis from Laughlin Highlands Farm coming at you today from Command Central because it is a muddy, rainy, gross mess outside. It's February in Ohio and the weather cannot figure out what it wants to do. So it's a great day to be in the office doing office work and recording a video. I'm here to clear up a misconception today, and that misconception is that farmers are not good at technology. We're not up on the new things. We're just simple people of the land, the common clay of the New West. Morons. All due respect to Gene Wilder, one of the comedy greats, and if you don't know the movie that I'm quoting, it's called Blazing Saddles. It's one of the best movies ever made. Go find it. Probably don't watch it with your kids, but you can thank me later. They certainly don't make movies like that anymore, that is for sure. But back to technology. Today I want to talk to you about AI, and no, we're not talking about artificial insemination. We're talking about artificial intelligence. Similar acronym, totally different concepts. Don't try to mix the two up. I'm not really sure how that would go. In my day job, AI has become an increasingly important part of my workflow to make myself more efficient, make my business more profitable, and I don't see why that's not something that I could bring over to the ranching world as well to see if I could do the same. So stick around, and I'll tell you the 5 ways that I'm using AI, artificial intelligence, in my ranching business in 2025. Here we go. Number 1, the app PictureThis. And this is something you may not think of as AI. Nowadays, especially, when people think of AI, they think of ChatGPT, which is one form of, I guess, AI, if you want to call it that. But all AI is based on a concept known as machine learning. And when you take a picture of something with an app, and then it spits back to you what that picture is showing you, that's a form of machine learning. That's definitely AI. And this one's been around for a while. We're not sponsored by PictureThis, but oh my gosh, it is helpful to a rancher to know what a plant is, especially one that's growing out in our pasture that our animals are eating. Forbs, which is the fancy term for weeds in a regenerative ranching context, tell us what we are lacking in our soil, and they tell us what our animals want. So if an animal is lacking a specific mineral and they're just gobbling up a certain type of forb or weed, that tells us a lot about what's going on. It's also nice because we're new, and honestly, I haven't cataloged, nor has my wife cataloged, all of the plants that grow in Ohio. So when we see something new, it's kind of fun to go, what on earth is this? So PictureThis, it's a great app. We use it all of the time. Number 2 is Opus Clip. This is a fantastic tool that we use for the business side of our ranch. So there's 2 sides to the ranching business or the farming business. One side is production, which would be our ranching, where we go and we grow the animals that we butcher into fantastic grass-fed, soy-free meat that we sell to our customer base. The other side of that is we have to have a customer base. That's kind of the important part of having a business. And in 2025, when you have a direct-to-consumer product, like a regenerative ranch selling grass-fed beef, for example, you have to grow your customer base, and you do it through social media, or in this case, YouTube, and all the other social media that we do, like Instagram. But the tools that have come out in the past, 2 years have been really helpful to small content creators like us. This Opus Clip product, I give it a link to YouTube. So I'll make a YouTube video like this one. I'll give it the link, and magically it generates a bunch of short content and also ranks the short content by what it thinks based on what it knows about the algorithm and other black magic related to social media, which ones will be trendy and get clicks and hopefully get subscribers. So this What's Your Legacy Start Now is 99 out of 100. And this one that it made down here, wood chipper fails and wins, is 63 out of 100. A higher number is better in this case. I don't know why wood chipper fails and wins would not be higher. I think that would be awesome. Whatever, it is what it is. Hey everyone, just want to interject real quick and remind you to like and subscribe to our channel. That's what really grows things and gets things going. I love making content like this, but we have to do it in a way that grows our business. So please like and subscribe, check out our other videos, and most importantly, visit our farm store at LaughlinHighlandsFarm.com. Number 3 is equipment maintenance and diagnoses of error codes. Now, this is where we get into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is like a Swiss Army knife for a whole bunch of things. The one that I didn't expect was equipment maintenance. Now, you can laugh, but my John Deere 5085 tractor had an error code. I know. The whole right to repair thing, I get it. I hear you, internet. I understand. It was the right tractor at the right time. Let's move on. But generally speaking, the John Deere runs really great. But occasionally it does throw code, and these codes, like this John Deere error code 3695.14, means absolutely nothing without some type of explanation behind it. I've searched for codes on the internet before, and typically it leads me down the rabbit hole of internet forums and PDFs and blah, blah, blah. One of the superpowers of ChatGPT is that it indexes all of that, including all the PDFs that are equipment manuals and downloads and all kinds of crazy stuff. Something like Google wouldn't necessarily, or I should say a search engine like Google wouldn't necessarily search through all of that and index it. And if it did, it would just show you a listing of where this number popped up in an internet forum. It doesn't condense all that stuff down into a readable format. What GPT did is that not only did it identify correctly, I may add, the error code, but it gave me some explanations and causes. It gave me some troubleshooting actions. Like the last one. Yeah, I see what you're doing. And then it also gave me a video, which could be helpful in trying to figure out how to pull codes or look at them or do something, right? This is really cool. By the way, the error code is correct. I did go, and there is an issue with the DPF. Shocking, I know, if you know anything about diesel engines. But I thought that was pretty cool. Maybe even more impressive is this one. I had an error code on my Ford. I know. An error code on a Ford indicator light never happens, right? But I didn't know what this light meant. And I was sitting in a parking lot. My truck was making weird noises and doing bad things. So I took a picture of it. This is the picture off my phone, and sent it to ChatGPT. And it gave me this explanation with some troubleshooting tips. Ultimately, I was able to drive home, and I called my mechanic, and he said the exact same thing that ChatGPT said. And as it turns out, the four-wheel drive actuator on the front transfer case may just be sticky or going bad or whatever, right? But the fact that I could take a picture of an indicator light and send it on and get an explanation for it, awesome. It's like having a master mechanic in my back pocket at all times. So that would be number 3, equipment maintenance and diagnosis using ChatGPT. Number 4 is YouTube video description creation. This is in my workflow of creating content. Again, it goes back to the marketing side of things, which may or may not be interesting if you're a rancher, but like somebody at Greg Judy's grazing conference told me, you have no right to assume what somebody else finds interesting. So start recording your stuff because somebody might find you interesting. You know, kind of a big deal. Anyway, you're watching this, right? So there's some truth to that. Anyway, with captions and descriptions and all that stuff, the new version of Final Cut Pro, which is what I use to edit my videos, it has a new AI function built in using machine learning that can take a video and it'll automatically create captions for that video. The captions get put into a file with an extension of .itt, so a .itt file. And that file you upload to YouTube, so it puts the captions in the right spot and all that good stuff. You can also upload that file to ChatGPT, like I did here, and tell it to write a description, which is pretty cool. And if you're like me and you have a farm name that sounds like Auckland, but it's Laughlin, you can ask it to rewrite it with the proper word. Thank you, ChatGPT. But anyway, it will write you a description, and then you can tell it to optimize it for SEO or search engine optimization. And this is what it comes out with, which is pretty darn cool. This saves me a lot of time. I can write descriptions. I'm pretty decent at writing. It's something I've always been halfway decent at. But if I can have an algorithm, again, help me out with the algorithm and write a description for me, it saves me time, it works out well, and I can copy paste, and it just makes my workflow that much smoother. I had no idea that ChatGPT could parse ITT files, but here we are, right? That's pretty darn cool. As a note, I will say, try uploading all kinds of different files to ChatGPT. It's amazing what I've found it can do. Excel files. I haven't tried like GPX files yet, but it might be able to do something with that. There's a whole lot of interesting processing stuff going on here, so it is worth checking out. Number 5 is research. I saved this one for last because I think that this really is the embodiment of the potential and maybe a little bit of the existential terror of AI, right? The other AI functions are kind of like just a really, really good search engine. This deep research functionality of ChatGPT, though, is something else entirely. Now, I will say, standard ChatGPT, I think there's a free level, and then there's like a $20 a month level, which you can do all the stuff that I did before. This one is $200 a month, and I'm going to try it out for a few months. You can cancel it, at any time, but you definitely have to pay out a little bit for this deep research function. But deep research, the best way I can describe it is, imagine you hire a researcher, like a PhD candidate or a college student who really knows how to use the library and the databases, and you give them a question. That's what deep research does. I don't know what to say except it knocks my socks off. You can read the prompt that I gave this here. By hand, I have been going to the Mount Hope auction website, downloading their PDF files, and with the assistance of an assistant, taking that data and putting it into a spreadsheet to try and track lamb prices over time. Oh, and just figure out if I am going to try to time the market for dropping lamb off at the sale, what the best time to do it is, right? Well, I thought maybe I can have ChatGPT do this for me. So I gave it this question. It responded back with some very good and quite astute follow-up questions. I told it what I wanted, and then it went off to crunching the data. And let me tell you, again, I cannot tell you how impressed I am with this data. Not only did it give me data from multiple years, but it also went to multiple auction sites. It pulled data from, and it also lists its sources too, which is good. Pulled data from OSU, pulled data from the Farm and Dairy, which I didn't even think of. That's a great resource around here. They're a regional paper. Pulled data from the individual auction sites, and put together a comprehensive outline of what the market has been doing for the past, I think it was 3 or 5 years, and made some recommendations on what to do with that data. So it told me where the lamb prices have been, when they were high, likely why they were high, which is fascinating, and then summarized the findings into something that I could, I guess, do an action on, right? Also told me, okay, take all this data. This is very interesting and great. But as a rancher, just quite simply, when should I sell lamb? And that's the final recommendation. And it really boils down to, like, here are 2 times. Now, I probably could have figured this out by going and talking to somebody, an old timer, but old timers are getting harder to find. They're old timers, right? And sometimes it's nice to just make sure that what I'm hearing out there that's anecdotal evidence is actually true. So ChatGPT is not the be all and end all. It's certainly not omnipresent or omniscient, and there are errors in it. However, it is a fantastic research tool to be able to pull together a whole bunch of data from a bunch of different places and make a decision on it. The other one I did, if you're not interested in market data, was a silvopasture seed mix recommendation for our specific area. And the silvopasture project you've seen in the videos, where I've been reseeding this clearing this northern facing hill. I need to reseed it into pasture for my animals. I don't really know what to plant there, and the guys at the co-op are kind of guessing as well. I gave it a similar question, and it gave me a dissertation on the type of grass to plant on that northern pasture, including, they call it a nanny grass, but like a cover crop, if you will, that will grow quickly to shield the grass while it's coming up. And we all know that's ryegrass if you know anything about growing pasture, but there's different types of ryegrass, there's different planting techniques. Again, amazing, right? This is not that I'm an expert on this, but I've been to a number of grazing conferences and grazing schools, including Greg Judy's, and this fits with everything I've been hearing. It even, in my initial recommendation, realized that I didn't add legumes into my question. So I asked it, like, I want a grass seed mix, and it comes back and says, would you like any legumes included in the mix for nitrogen fixation? That's amazing, right? So I'll be using this more as time goes on, but there are a multitude of research questions on the farm that I would love to know. And this seems to be, unless I want to go to a university library, the best way to get some answers to these questions. So again, this is the deep research product from OpenAI, and it told me what I need to go down and buy as far as grass seed goes. It's pretty incredible. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some good use out of this. It's amazing what these tools can do, and they can really help a small business like us or a small content creator grow their business and really make a mark. So if you could, speaking of growing business, like and subscribe. Check out our online store at LaughlinHighlandsFarm.com. We ship meat to all 48 states. It's grass-fed, awesome beef and lamb and chicken and pork as well. So please check that out. We love you. God bless you. Please pray for us. We'll pray for you. Have a great day. See ya.